when we are standing at the threshold of our new beginning, about to step over, but we're at that phase where we now have to defragment the mind. We have to take actively and pay attention to the things that are processing in the background. Welcome to Sacred Empowerments of the Divine Feminine. I am YaYa, the spiritual doula. Thank you for tapping in with me today. To all of those who are listening to me for the first time, please take a moment after you have watched this video to subscribe and become a part of the tribe here at Mother's Daughters ITV. To all my returning viewers, thank you, Soul Tribe, for your support and your participation in building this community. I hope everybody is having a wonderful, wonderful day, night, morning, whatever time you're watching this video. I hope you are doing well in your soul. I wanted to come on and have a conversation with the Divine Feminines, okay? Because I got something ringing in my heart and ringing in my mind that I want to talk with you about. You know, as I guess you could say, prepare myself for this new beginning that is manifesting itself into my life even now, I'm realizing that preparation for the new beginning is often left untalked about. We often talk about the new beginning, but we don't talk about the preparation for the new beginning. And I'm not talking about, when you're in the season of healing and, digging up those things in your heart and in your spirit and your mind that you have to, sit aside. That is a part of the preparation, right? But I'm talking about when you have done those things, when you have done the shadow work, when you have done the isolation period, when you may still technically be isolated, but your ancestors and your spirit team are letting you know that you have done the work. They are celebrating you. You are celebrating yourself. You are resting in a certain proudness for your ability to go through the hard time, to go through the hard cycle. That cycle of stripping away or being stripped away is pretty much closed, and you're somewhat in the in-between. And I believe that I've spoken about this before, but I want to talk about it again today, because I believe I'm not the only one. For sure, if you are a listener of the Mother's Daughters ITV, if you are a subscriber, a part of the tribe, I'm sure that you have joined the Mother's Daughters ITV. You have found yourself listening to the videos that the mother has allowed me to release, because you bear witness with some of the things that I've been saying and I've been talking about here recently, is about moving over the threshold and into a new beginning. When you are standing at the door, about to walk out of the past and into a new future, you can find yourself having to prepare while being at the threshold, just about to step over. It requires a certain preparation of the mind. It requires a defragmenting, right, of the mind, to prepare the mind to process not what was, but what is now. Okay. And so when you're at that threshold, you're kind of defragmenting is the word that I keep hearing in my spirit. Like, you have to defragment the mind, because when you're in these shadow periods, dark periods, transformational, transitional periods, you pick up a lot of information. You're doing childhood inner work, past life work. You're being reminded of things that you have consciously forgotten, that have been playing in the background. And so I want to use, for an example, Yesterday I was producing some stuff on the computer and doing some graphic work. And anybody who does graphic work, you know that when the computer system is not working correctly, doing graphical work on the computer, graphic design on a computer where the system is not running correctly, is one of the most frustrating things you will ever experience as it relates to working with a computer. Okay, because when the computer system is not running smoothly, the amount of processing that it takes for the computer to bring your graphical vision into fruition is very tedious for the computer to process. Okay, and this is going to bless me even as I give it, because I'm receiving it and recording this as I'm receiving it. This is not something that I sat down with for 2 days and said, okay, well, now let me go record it. I'm receiving this right now, this message. Okay. And so yesterday I was doing graphic work on the computer, and my computer, it has been telling me for days, low disk space, low disk space, low disk space. And I'm like, okay, I'll get to it later. Because I really hate having to clean up the files, because I'm going to be honest with you, I don't be knowing what files I can get rid of and what files I need to keep, because there's certain files on your computer that if you delete that file, it will alter and completely mess up the processing of the computer. So if you're not familiar with what files are needed and what files are not, you run the risk of deleting the wrong file. And so when it comes to the files on my computer, especially like, on your C drive and stuff like that, and, the ones that you recognize because, you put that file on the computer, those are easy. Like, oh yeah, I don't need that no more. Oh, I don't need that app no more. So on and so forth. But when you get into like the real back behind the scenes and you start seeing all of these, just randomly named files, and you don't know what they are, where they come from, and if the computer actually needs that file, right? And so the computer had been telling me, you got low disk space, we need more space. And I'm like, okay, I'll get to it later, because I really don't like fucking with that shit. But yesterday I was doing graphics, and I ran into a processing issue with what I was trying to create, and I had no choice. But to do the best I could with going into the disk space on the computer and deleting what no longer served me, right? What no longer served, it was taking up space on the computer and it was not needed for the computer. And so I also had to run what's called a defragmentation of the computer. I had to defragment the computer so that the computer functions and runs more cohesively. Okay. And so this is a beautiful example of what we have to do sometimes when we are standing at the threshold of our new beginning, about to step over, but we're at that phase where we now have to defragment the mind. We have to take actively and pay attention to the things that are processing in the background that no longer serve where you are going and hinders your ability to receive new information according to the vision that you are trying to create, that is in front of you, that is in your future. Okay, so Spirit was talking to me this morning and is talking to me this morning about managing your realities. Okay. And if you look at your reality and defragment the reality, which means instead of looking at it at a micro level or at a macro level, look at your reality as a micro, at a micro level, meaning look at every individual as a fragment of your reality. Look at all of the hats you wear as an employee, as a CEO, as a businesswoman, as a mother, as a wife, as a partner, as a whatever hat you wear. All of them. Look at them individually as a fragment of your reality. Okay? Look at um all of the connections you are in, whether you're in relationship with these people or not necessarily in relationship, but there's a connection there that is lingering. You have to look at that as a fragment of your reality. And when you look at your reality in a defragmented way, or in a fragmented way, you can better see where you should be applying your attention, not for where you are coming from, not from the past, but where should I apply my attention? To whom should I continue to give my attention? Which one of these hats should I continue to give my attention to? Which one of these hats that I wear do I have no choice but to give my attention to? What should I be giving my attention to in my reality that is still going to serve me and be beneficial to me after I step over this threshold into a new beginning? And all of this is required as preparation for the new beginning. And in fact, there is no stepping over the threshold into the new beginning until you defragment the mind. And that defragmentation of the mind takes intention. Actively, intentively, attentively paying attention to the processes of your mind that are running in the background that you no longer need, that is slowing up your ability to process the new beginning, that is slowing up your ability to make decisions according to the new beginning and not decisions according to what is old and passing away. Right? I'm finding myself, as I'm standing at this threshold, really having to investigate past connections, even past perceptions of myself. Okay? Because there are things that you are holding on to. There are ideas of you that you are holding on to that cannot go with you into the new beginning. And so those ideas would then be a process, it's like how the computer, right? The reason why the computer stops running like it's supposed to, partly because there are processes going on in your computer that you are not aware of. If anybody has ever had, like, when the computer stalls, right, and it's saying, let's say Google Drive is not responding, right, and it gives you that little blurry screen, and it gives you the not responding in parentheses, and you got to just either sit there and wait, or you know what I mean, like, I don't know, you make a decision as to how you gonna handle the fact that the shit ain't responding. Okay, when your computer does that, if anybody has ever opened up the task manager, so when the computer stalls, this is what I usually do, is I do the Control-Alt-Delete, push those three buttons at the same time, and I go to the task manager, and I end the task because it's stalling. So I don't want to shut the computer down and go through all that. I just want to end the task that is stalling. But when you go to the task manager and you scroll down, you start seeing, because the task manager will tell you how much is running in the computer in the background. The task manager will tell you how much CPU power are each individual task taking up while it's running in the background. Like, the task manager is what you have to become when you are stepping into a new beginning. And even after you step into that new beginning, you have to become a better task manager, because the brain has a limitation, just like the computer. It has a limitation of how much it can hold, how much it can give attention to at one particular time. Right? So on the computer, when you got a whole lot of stuff opened up and a whole lot of processes going on in the background that you don't see, because you over here in Google on YouTube listening to me right now, you don't even know that the C drive is running, the D drive, the data drive is running. Over here, you got your visual card running. Over here, you got, you don't even know how much processing it takes for you to just actually be on YouTube listening to me. And you also don't know, you're not cognizant of how many other things are running that ain't even got nothing to do with you being on YouTube listening to me. So there are processes happening in the computer that we are not consciously aware of, even when we are on the computer, and we don't become aware of it until the computer stalls. Until we are trying to create something on the computer and the computer doesn't have enough space to accomplish the task. And this is the same exact thing that happens with the mind when you view the mind from the concept of the fact that it is a computer. Many times you have to go into the drives on your computer and you have to delete old files, right? You may have 3 years ago, you know what I'm saying, you were studying something, so you got some PDF files, you got a few images, you know what I'm saying, you got whole books and stuff that you didn't got off Scribd, and you just got all kind of stuff from 3 years ago. You ain't even paying no attention to this stuff no more. You done moved on, you don't need it, and that file is taking up space, and now you're trying to move into something new. But the mind is telling you, I need you to delete that file because I ain't got no space to hold what is new. I need you to go in and go to that drive and defragment because I don't have any space to hold what is new. And so just like a computer, we have to visit the task manager. We have to sit and look at what is running in the background and how much of my personal power am I using up paying attention to something that I no longer even need. Paying attention to a person that is no longer needed. Paying attention to a relationship that is no longer needed. Paying attention on a job that is no longer needed. I've been working on my business on the side. I've been putting the time in, and I'm relatively making what I'm doing pretty good, but I still clock in over here with somebody else's business, somebody else's vision, because I use the job as a security blanket. Maybe I no longer need that. Right? I'm doing what I got the business up. It's running. The clients are growing. I can see it. It's moving. But for every hour that I spend clocked in over here, that robs me of an hour to process the new business even faster, because I'm over here clocked in and using my old job as a security blanket. And you're at the threshold of what is new, but you got to delete some things. You got to defragment some things. You got to erase some things. You got to go into the recycling bin of your mind and delete the recycling bin. You understand what I'm saying? Like you can't house the new beginning and the past at the same time. You have to let the past go. The thing about it, as a human, because we have all of these fragments of our reality, there are relationships. Some you cannot defragment. Like you're a mother. You just can't stop. Just can't just Be like, hey, somebody come get these children. I don't want them no more. I mean, you could, but then, what kind of human being would you be, right? Those are your babies. If you love yours like I love mine, then I know that that's not even, like, not at all even finna fucking happen. Okay? So that's a part of my past that is definitely going with me into my future. Okay? That's without question. But then you have these old connections and these old friendships. These are relationships you have chosen. Just like you chose to download that PDF file because at the time you needed it, and you ain't been back to that download for 3 years and it's still sitting there. And now you have moved on to something else and you don't have any space for the new thing. That is how we have to go in and look at old connections and old friendships, old situations of our choosing that no longer aid us in where we'll be going. And we have to hit the delete button. Move to trash. Move to trash. And after we move to trash, we have to then go to the trash bin, to the recycle bin, and delete it completely. Now, this goes even deeper because, working on a computer like yesterday, there were some things that I was able to just delete, like when it comes to files and stuff like that, and images and things that I'm holding on to, that the computer was housing that was getting in the way. I was able to just delete it, move the trash, boom, 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 boom. That was quick fix. But there are some things on your computers that you can't just move to trash. You have to go and uninstall it. There are some things you have to go a step further. You have to go a little bit further with those things. You have to uninstall them. These are applications that you are applying to your life that no longer serve you. This is an application. This is a thought process about the self, about that person, about that situation that is actually installed in the deep psyches of your mind that no longer aid you, and they are no longer needed. And so for those things, you have to uninstall. You have to uninstall that application, uninstall that thought, uninstall that relationship, meaning completely erase it from your psychology. I had to uninstall some things yesterday, right? I still got more I need to uninstall on this computer. Like I said, some of that stuff I gotta go Google and find out exactly what it is, because I don't know. And uninstalling things, not when you download, you go to the app store and you get, let's say, Photoshop. See, you put Photoshop on your computer so you know exactly what Photoshop is. You know what it does. You know if it's working for you. If you want to pay that expensive price that they charge, then you keep it on there. But I don't be wanting to pay that shit, so I don't really need it, but it's still there. And it don't even work because I ain't paid for it. And I ain't gonna pay for it. Maybe in the future. But right now, I'm not doing it. Canva is working very well for me, and it's cheaper. Okay? And so, I didn't need Photoshop anymore. So when you have apps from the App Store, those are things that you have, those are applications you have applied. And they're familiar to you, so there's no problem. Let me uninstall that. Boom. I don't need that no more. But there are applications and stuff running around in this computer that have to do with the actual, because every computer comes with certain applications, gaming applications, and even video applications, so you can watch videos and all of these different things. And sometimes you don't really know what the fuck these applications do. So it's like you have to go a step further to investigate the application. This is what it's like when you have ideas. This is what we do as spiritualists. We investigate the things that have been downloaded to the hard drives of our minds. that we actually do not need, but we don't really know what it is. We don't know where it came from. We don't know what it do. We have to go see, why do I think what I think about a particular thing that is causing me to get a certain outcome that I do not want? Why? What is that? What is that about me right there? Let me see what that is running in the background. Let me see what that is that has been applied to my psychology without my knowing. Because I don't know what that is. That's foreign to my consciousness, but yet it's running in the background, taking up space and hindering your ability to successfully process the vision that you're actually trying to manifest. You have applications, things that have been applied to you that is running in the background and it's foreign to you. You don't know what it is. Well, you have to go a little further with those. You have to go a little further. You have to investigate the nature of that application. See if it is needed. Does it still apply? And where? Am I misusing it? Am I not using it at all? And it's a pretty cool application. I probably should be. I don't really need to go and download nothing from the Play Store because the computer already came with such and such and such and such. It's a pretty cool application. I didn't know that was even on here. You know what I mean? Like, you have to investigate applications. And when you find that the application is no longer needed, you have to uninstall it. Now, uninstalling does not happen as quickly as moving something to the trash. I was pushing the uninstall button on stuff, and some things took about 5 minutes. Some things took about 2 or 3 minutes. I had to go out the door, get me a cup of coffee, come back, and wait for it to get done. Had to push a few buttons. Yes, I give authorization, for you to move it off the computer. Woo, 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 woo. It's a few steps to uninstalling, right? And so, nevertheless, if you want this computer to do what it is you actually trying to get it to do, you have to be patient and go through that uninstalling process. And so when you find yourself at the threshold of a new beginning, it doesn't just happen overnight. That new beginning doesn't just happen overnight. And this is why I often talk about being patient. Okay? And I just put up a video earlier talking about trusting the process. See, these are all processes, right? Like, defragmenting the computer is a process. If you've ever had to do a system restore on your computer, it's a process. Everything doesn't happen as fast as, just moving one file to the recycle bin. That can happen in a split of in a split second. But click on maybe 30 files at one time and move those 30 files. And each one of those 30 files could have various amounts of other information inside that file, and move 30 files at one time to the recycle bin, and you're gonna be sitting there for about two minutes. It take a little bit more of a process because you're discarding more information, you're discarding more content at one time, right? And so however you choose to do it, however it happens for you, whether you do an overhaul or whether you sit and systematically do one file at a time, boom, boom, get rid of that one, get rid of that one. Oh, nah, I don't need him no more. Get rid of that one. He don't want to act right. He not emotionally mature or intelligent, and I've moved past that. That's from an old timeline. Boom, get rid of him. But if you really had your hands and shit busy, you might have about 5 niggas you need to get rid. Excuse me. You might have about 5 you needed to get rid of at one time, because you have moved into a whole new processing. You're processing your future, and that can't go with you. They can't go with you. It can't go with you. You may have about, a handful of ideas of yourself that no longer can go with you over this threshold. So whether you do a mass bulk cleaning up or whether you do one file at a time, nevertheless, it's a process. Some things are going to be removed from the hard drive of your mind very quickly. Some things are going to take more time. Some things are going to require for you to uninstall it. And that takes more time. Okay? That takes more time. But the new beginning, what you're trying to manifest, has to have the space. You have to have the capacity to hold that new information, that new vision, that new manifestation. And to do that, you have to be a really efficient task manager. You have to manage and work in harmony with the limitations of the mind. When these computers that we click-clack on tell you that you don't have no more space, that outside of removing and making some space, there is nothing else you can do. You have to work in harmony with the mechanisms of the computer and the way it is designed. Because when there's no more space, there's no more space. Stuff starts shutting down, click-clacking on you, freezing on you. And if you're in the middle of writing a book, you don't need that. You understand what I'm saying? You need this computer to run efficiently. That is the same way with the mind. That is the same way with your new beginning. You don't need no issues. You don't need no stalling. No shutting down randomly. No, oh my God, it didn't save. What? And the computer been telling you for 2 weeks that it ain't got no more space, sweetheart. You got to clear up some space. So now you done lost the whole 7th chapter of the book because it wasn't able to handle even the saving, the process that it takes to save what you just did. Like, you have to yield to the way a computer is designed. And what I'm saying is that we have to yield to the mechanism and the design of our minds. You cannot give attention, your attention is your power. You cannot continue to give your power, your attention to processes that have absolutely nothing to do with what you are trying to bring forth right now. I don't need that PDF file no more. Let me get rid of that. I don't need those pictures no more. They weren't even all that cute. Let me get rid of that. I don't need this right here no more. Let me get rid of that. I don't need this app no more. Let me uninstall it. So even after you step over the threshold into a new beginning, it is imperative that while you are at that threshold, that you take the time to defragment, that you take the time to learn how to be a task manager. Many of you are stepping into a new beginning where in other words, you're stepping into a new beginning that is going to bring you a lot of notoriety. A lot of people are going to know you. A lot of people are going to recognize you. From whatever it is that you are, if you're starting a business, the whole point of being a business owner, almost every business owner, each individual, whether it's a product or a service, you need that business to be recognizable, which means it's going to expose you to more people. And so you really have to be a good task manager. You're going to have employees and people working under you and assistants and secretaries, and you got the accountant and you got this, and then you still got the children and the husband and at the house. You have to be a good task manager. You have to make space for the new beginning so everything flows efficiently and cohesively. So anything from your past that is running in the processes, in the recesses of your mind, whether it is a self-perception or whether it is a connection, a relationship, a decision, another endeavor. Sometimes we have too many irons in the fire at one time. And many times there are things in our fire that simply don't need to be there. There are people you're still giving your attention to that don't need to be there. There are connections you're still emotionally, mentally, and spiritually holding on to that doesn't need to be there. You defragment all of the fragments for the purpose of allowing the process to run cohesively and flow cohesively. So that new beginning, that creation, that thing you are birthing comes forth as you see it. The mind can only pay attention to a few things at a time. You have the job, divine feminines. You have the job of the task manager and managing it well. Managing your reality and all of the fragments that make up the whole. Managing it well. Making sure you have space for the new beginning that you are about to step into. This has been Sacred Empowerments of the Divine Feminine. I am YaYa, the spiritual doula. Thank you for tapping in. Thank you for listening. Please take a moment to hit the subscribe button if you have not. Also, hit the like button. Exchange a little energy with your girl. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you have not turned on your notification bell, go ahead and hit the bell so you'll know when I'm back with another one, all right?